The alarm doesn't ring. It screams. 4:17 a.m. Not 4:15, not 4:20, 4:17. Because the man in the video with 50 million views said that 4:18 is for amateurs and 4:20 is for people who aren't serious, and the exact precise specific minute matters when you're trying to prove you want it more than everyone else. The sound is called radar. It starts quiet, then builds, then becomes urgent. It's designed to wake you from deep sleep. It does its job perfectly. His hand finds the phone by memory. His eyes don't open. His thumb swipes right. The screaming stops. 4 minutes and 37 seconds of silence. Then he sits up. His name is Marcus. He's 28 years old. He lives in Austin, Texas, in a 1-bedroom apartment south of the river, where the rent is $1 a month, and he's never once had a conversation with his next-door neighbor. He works in private equity. His job title is senior analyst, which means he spends most of his day building financial models that other people will present to other people, who will make decisions based on numbers Marcus calculated at midnight while drinking coffee he did not taste. He's been doing this for 18 months. 18 months of 4:17 alarms. 18 months of mouth tape. The mouth tape comes first. He peels a strip from the roll on his nightstand. 3 inches, maybe a little more. He learned that 50 millimeters is the optimal length. The video said so. He presses it across his lips, smooths it down with his fingertips, and breathes through his nose. His bedroom is dark. The blackout curtains cost $89 on Amazon, and they work. He can't see the sky. He can't see the street. He can't see anything except the faint glow of his phone screen, which tells him it's 4:19 and he's already behind. He stands up. His feet find the cold floor. The hardwood is original to the building, 1923, and the landlord never installed insulation. In February, the floor feels like ice. Marcus doesn't flinch. He's been training himself not to react to discomfort. The bathroom light clicks on. It's harsh and white, and reveals exactly how tired he looks. Dark circles, sallow skin, a faint red line around his mouth where the tape pulled at the corners. He doesn't look at himself directly. He looks at the reflection of the water filling the basin, the ice water. He fills the bowl. He opens the freezer. The ice cubes are in a silicone tray, perfectly portioned, frozen solid. He drops 3 into the water. They hit the surface with a sound like glass breaking. He bends over. His hands grip the edge of the sink. His reflection stares up at him from the water, distorted by ripples and ice. He submerges his face. The cold hits like a slap. Not gradual, immediate. His body screams at him to pull back, to breathe, to escape. He counts. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5. He surfaces, gasping, water dripping down his chin, his neck, soaking the collar of his shirt. His face is bright red. His eyes are watering. He looks at himself in the mirror, finally, and tries to feel something other than exhausted. The man in the video said this is what winners do. 50 million people watched him say it. 50 million people can't be wrong, right? The banana is on the counter, exactly where he left it last night. He peels it carefully. The inside of the peel is soft and fibrous. He rubs it across his cheeks in circular motions, just like the video showed. Something about enzymes, something about pores, something about looking as young as you feel. Except he doesn't feel young anymore and hasn't for a while. He throws the peel in the trash. He eats the banana in 3 bites. It's slightly underripe, which means it tastes more like starch than fruit. But the video said green bananas have more resistant starch and better blood sugar response. He doesn't know what that means. He just knows the man with 50 million views said it was optimal. It's 4:42, He's supposed to start his gratitude journal at 4:45. He sits on the edge of his bed, phone in hand, and opens the Notes app. There's a template. He created it 67 days ago, on the first morning of this experiment, when he still believed that discipline was the missing ingredient in his otherwise perfect life. 3 things I'm grateful for today. 1. My health. 2. My job. 3. The opportunity to grow. He types the same words every morning. He's typed them 67 times. He doesn't feel grateful for his health. He feels like his body as a machine he's slowly wearing down. He doesn't feel grateful for his job. He feels trapped by it. He doesn't feel grateful for the opportunity to grow. He feels like growth is just another word for working harder and receiving less. But he types it anyway, because the man with 50 million views said, "Gratitude rewires your neural pathways," and Marcus really wants his neural pathways to be rewired into something that feels less like drowning. The statistic arrives silently, like most statistics do. It's February 2025. A new survey was released yesterday. Marcus hasn't seen it yet. He's been too busy with his 417 alarm and his mouth tape and his gratitude journal to read the news. But here it is, waiting for him in an email he'll open at 9:47 a.m., between his first coffee and his first meeting. Only 1 in 4 Americans say they are thriving at work. 1 in 4, 25%. The other 75% are doing what Marcus is doing, showing up, performing, smiling at colleagues and nodding in meetings and pretending that the quiet desperation they feel is just a phase, just a rough patch, just a temporary imbalance between effort and reward that will eventually somehow correct itself. 75%. That's 180 million people, 180 million alarms, 180 million cups of cold coffee, 180 million mouths taped shut, not with adhesive, but with the unspoken agreement that we don't talk about how tired we really are. Marcus doesn't know this yet. At 4:52 a.m., he's just a man sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at his phone, wondering why gratitude feels so much like lying. 7:12 a.m. Marcus is in his car, stopped at the light at Cesar Chavez and Congress. The February light is thin and gray, filtering through low clouds that have settled over the city like a blanket. To his left, the Ann W. Richards Congress Avenue Bridge stretches across Lady Bird Lake. In the summer, it's famous for bats. In February, it's just concrete and steel and the slow crawl of morning traffic. His phone is mounted on the dashboard. His calendar glows green and blue and orange, a mosaic of obligations that started at 6 a.m. with a call from the New York office and won't end until at least 7 p.m. Probably later. Definitely later. He thinks about the mouth tape. He thinks about the ice water. He thinks about the man with 50 million views who said that if you can't handle 417, you don't want it badly enough. What exactly is it? He's not sure anymore. When he started this experiment, it was clear. A promotion, a corner office, a salary that would finally make him feel secure. But he got the promotion. He got the corner-adjacent office with the good view of the parking garage. His salary went up, and his rent went up, and his exhaustion went up, and his satisfaction stayed exactly where it was, which was nowhere. So maybe it isn't a thing you achieve. Maybe it is a thing you keep reaching for, forever, like a horizon that moves every time you get closer. The light turns green. Marcus presses the accelerator. The car moves forward, 23 floors up, glass and steel and the smell of coffee that's been sitting too long. The receptionist, Denise, has been here since 7:00. She's 57 years old and has worked at this firm for 19 years and has watched 3 generations of young men in ill-fitting suits cycle through, desperate to prove themselves, burning out, moving on. She greets Marcus with the same warm smile she's given every one of them. "Morning, Marcus. You're here early." He nods. He doesn't say that he's been awake since 4:17. He doesn't say that he has already performed more discipline before most people wake up than his entire day will require. He just nods and walks toward his desk. The desk is clean. Not because he's organized, because he doesn't spend enough time here to make a mess. His laptop waits for him, closed, silent. His monitor waits. His chair waits. He sits. He opens the laptop. The screen glows to life. 147 unread emails, 23 flagged as urgent. A Slack message from his boss, sent at 11:47 p.m. last night. Got the Q2 projections? No rush, just checking in. No rush. Sent at 11:47 p.m. No rush. Marcus opens the file. He starts working. The Slack ping at 9:13 p.m. is what breaks him. Not visibly, not dramatically. He doesn't throw his phone across the room or scream into his hands, or do any of the things people do in movies when they reach their breaking point. He just pauses. His fingers hover over the keyboard. The cursor blinks. The Slack notification sits on his screen, a little red badge demanding his attention. It's his boss again. Not urgent, not important. Just another request, another task, another obligation layered on top of the 17 other obligations he's already carrying. She's still working. He's still working. Everyone is still working because no one knows how to stop. He thinks about the 4:17 alarm that will scream at him in 7 hours. He thinks about the mouth tape and the ice water and the banana peel on his skin. He thinks about the man with 50 million views who said that winners don't rest, that rest is for people who don't want it badly enough. He wants it badly. He wants it so badly he can't remember what it feels like to not want it. But he doesn't know what it is anymore. The text from his mom arrived at 6:47 p.m. He saw it. He didn't open it. Now it's 11:23 p.m., and he's still at his desk, still staring at the same spreadsheet, still pretending that one more adjustment will make the numbers say something different. His phone glows face up on the desk. The notification preview is visible. "Haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. You okay?" 2 weeks. Has it really been 2 weeks? He scrolls back through their message history. December 27th. She sent a photo of the snow in Portland. He sent a thumbs-up emoji. That was the last time. He doesn't open the message. He doesn't know what to say. He's not okay. He hasn't been okay for months, maybe years, maybe since he was 22 years old and believed that working harder would eventually feel like something other than running in place. But you don't text your mother that at 11:23 p.m. on a Tuesday. You don't tell the woman who raised you that her son has become a stranger to himself. You send a thumbs-up emoji and promise to call soon, and then you don't. He opens the spreadsheet. The numbers blur. He closes it. 11:47. He should go home. He should sleep. He should wake up at 4:17 and do it all again. He doesn't move. Here's the lie they believe. It's not that hard work doesn't pay off. Sometimes it does. It's not that the system is rigged. Sometimes it is. The lie is more subtle, more personal, more insidious than any conspiracy theory or political slogan. The lie is this: your exhaustion is proof of your value. If you're tired, you must be working hard. If you're working hard, you must be productive. If you're productive, you must be important. If you're important, you must be worthy. The lie connects these dots in a straight, clean line. It tells you that the 4:17 alarm is a badge of honor, that the mouth tape and the ice water and the banana peel on your skin are not self-harm, but self-improvement. That the Slack ping at 11:47 p.m. is evidence that you are needed, necessary, irreplaceable. It tells you that if you're suffering, you must be winning. And the cruelest part of the lie is that it works for a while. You get the promotion, you get the raise, you get the corner-adjacent office with the good view of the parking garage. You get the validation you've been chasing since you were 22 years old and didn't know any better. But the validation doesn't last. It never lasts, because the lie doesn't just connect exhaustion to value. It connects exhaustion to identity. You're not someone who works hard. You're someone who works too hard. You're someone who sacrifices. You're someone who endures. You're someone who wants it more than everyone else. And if you stop, even for a moment, who are you? Marcus stares at the dark screen of his laptop. His reflection stares back at him, distorted in the black glass. He's been running for 6 years. He's not sure he remembers how to walk. The blue light. It's 12:03 a.m. now. The office is empty except for the cleaning crew who move silently through the cubicles, emptying trash cans and wiping down surfaces. Marcus is still at his desk. His laptop is closed. His phone is face down. He's just sitting there, watching the light from the monitor of an empty desk cast a faint blue glow across the carpet. His apartment is 15 minutes away. His bed is waiting. His 4:17 alarm is waiting. His mouth tape and ice water and banana peel are waiting. He doesn't move. He thinks about the man with 50 million views. He thinks about the gratitude journal he'll fill out in 4 hours. He thinks about his mother's unread text, and his boss has late-night Slack, and the 75% of Americans who are not thriving. He thinks about the prayer. He read about it last week. A bishop standing in the National Cathedral, asking for mercy, not for herself, not for the powerful people in the front pews, for the scared, for the forgotten, for the people who don't get invited to the table, for the people who close their laptops at 11:47 p.m. and realize they have not spoken to their mother in 2 weeks. He didn't think much of it at the time. It was just news, another political controversy, another debate about what is and isn't appropriate in public spaces. But now, sitting in the dark office with the blue light on his face and the exhaustion in his bones, he wonders what it would feel like to be the subject of someone's prayer, to be seen, to be named, to be considered worthy of mercy, not because of what you've produced or accomplished or endured, but simply because you exist. He doesn't have an answer. He's not even sure it's the right question, but it's there, in his chest, small and insistent, a crack in the lie. The walk to the elevator. 12:17 a.m. Marcus finally stands. His chair rolls back and hits the wall with a soft thud. He slides his laptop into his bag, pulls the zipper closed. His phone is still face down on the desk. He picks it up, glances at the screen, sees his mother's message still waiting. He doesn't reply. Not yet. He doesn't know what to say. The elevator doors open. He steps inside. The doors close. He watches the floor numbers descend. 23, 22, 21, 20. Each one marking a level of the building he's leaving behind. He thinks about tomorrow. The 4:17 alarm, the mouth tape, the ice water, the banana peel, the gratitude journal, the emails, the meetings, the Slack pings, the spreadsheet that never balances, the exhaustion that never lifts. He thinks about the man with 50 million views. He thinks about the 75%. He thinks about his mother, waiting for a reply that never comes. The elevator reaches the lobby. The doors open. He steps out into the empty atrium, his footsteps echoing on the polished marble floor. The security guard nods at him. Long day. Marcus nods back. Long day. He pushes through the revolving door. The February air hits his face. It's cold and clean, and it smells like rain. He stands on the sidewalk for a moment, looking up at the building he just left, counting the floors until he finds his own. 23 floors, 147 unread emails, 18 months of 417 alarms, 28 years of believing that if he just worked harder, he would eventually feel like he'd arrived. He doesn't feel like he's arrived. He feels like he's been running in place for so long, he's forgotten there's anywhere else to go. The car is cold. The engine turns over, hums to life. He sits in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, not moving. His phone is in the passenger seat, face down. His laptop is in the back seat, closed. His bag is on the floor, unzipped, spilling papers he'll deal with tomorrow. He doesn't drive. He just sits there in the empty parking garage, listening to the engine idle. 12:34 a.m. In 3 hours and 43 minutes, his alarm will scream at him. In 3 hours and 43 minutes, he will tape his mouth shut and dunk his face in ice water and rub banana peel on his cheeks. In 3 hours and 43 minutes, he will type the same 3 things into his gratitude journal and try to feel something other than exhausted. But right now, in this moment, there is no alarm. There is no tape. There is no ice. There is just a man, sitting in his car, breathing through his mouth because nobody is watching to judge him for it. This is the identity trap, not laziness, not lack of ambition, not an unwillingness to work hard. Here's a number you won't see in the annual report. In 2025, 60% of employers said they would rather hire someone new than train an existing employee. This is what the Conclave is protecting. Not profits, not productivity. The Conclave is protecting the premise. This is what terrifies them, not the prayer itself. The prayer is just words. The workplace is a place for performance. He pauses. Anyone can pray. Not everyone can perform. In the heart of the city, where glass towers scrape the sky, stories of ambition, pressure, and quiet rebellion unfold every day. This is one of those stories. Meet Sarah. She's a marketing manager, brilliant and dedicated, navigating the treacherous currents of corporate life. She's the kind of person who remembers everyone's birthday, organizes the team lunches, and still manages to deliver killer campaigns. But lately, the weight of unspoken expectations has been pressing down on her. The late nights, the last-minute changes, the constant need to prove her worth. It's a silent battle, fought in the glow of a computer screen. She often wonders, is anyone even noticing? Does the applause for a successful project ever truly echo her personal sacrifice? Then there's Marcus. He lives in a different world, yet one just as demanding, private equity. For Marcus, life is a series of high-stakes deals, a relentless pursuit of the next big win. His days are a blur of spreadsheets, conference calls, and airport lounges. He's successful, no doubt about it. He has the sharp suit, the confident handshake, the corner office view. But behind the polished exterior, a different kind of pressure brews. It's the pressure to always be on, to never show weakness, to quantify every aspect of life in terms of profit and loss. He started to feel like a character in a play he didn't write, speaking lines someone else has prepared for him. Their worlds, though separate, are governed by the same invisible forces. It's the culture of more hours, more output, more success. It's a culture personified by figures like Mr. Henderson, a senior executive in Sarah's company. Henderson is a legend, a titan of the industry. He moves through the office with an aura of untouchable authority. His approval is the ultimate prize, his disappointment, a career-ending blow. He speaks in sharp, decisive sentences, his time measured in millions of dollars. To him, employees are assets, and performance is the only metric that matters. Sarah has spent years trying to earn a single, genuine nod of recognition from him, a sign that he sees her not just as a cog in the machine, but as a person. One evening, exhausted, after another 14-hour day, Sarah found herself aimlessly scrolling through her phone. She stumbled upon a video, a recording of a bishop's sermon. It was an unusual thing for her to watch, but something made her stop. The bishop, a gentle-faced man with a quiet, powerful voice, wasn't talking about profit margins or market shares. He was praying for mercy. He spoke of the grace of imperfection, the strength found in vulnerability, and the importance of compassion, not just for others, but for oneself. Grant us the mercy to see the humanity in each other, he prayed, and the courage to show our own. The words struck Sarah like a lightning bolt. Mercy. It was a concept so alien to her corporate world, a world built on judgment, competition, and relentless evaluation. She looked at her reflection in the dark screen of her laptop. She saw the tired eyes, the faint lines of stress. When was the last time she had shown herself any mercy? That night, something shifted in Sarah. The next day, she walked into the office with a new resolve. It wasn't a loud, dramatic declaration of war. It was a quiet rebellion. She left at 6 p.m. sharp, declining a last-minute urgent task that could wait until morning. She started taking a full hour for lunch, away from her desk. She began mentoring a junior colleague, not because it would look good on her performance review, but because she saw a younger version of herself in the girl's anxious eyes and wanted to offer the support she never had. Her colleagues were surprised. Henderson, predictably, was not impressed. He saw her departure at 6 p.m. as a lack of commitment. But Sarah held firm. Her work didn't suffer. In fact, it improved. Freed from the constant anxiety of seeking approval, her creativity flourished. She was more focused, more decisive. Her team, seeing her newfound balance, started to follow her lead. The frantic late-night email chains began to dwindle. A small pocket of sanity was forming in the chaos. Meanwhile, Marcus was reaching his own breaking point. A massive deal he'd been working on for months was on the verge of collapse. The pressure from his partners was immense. He hadn't slept in days, surviving on caffeine and adrenaline. One morning, staring at his haggard reflection in the bathroom mirror, he didn't recognize the man looking back. The thrill of the chase was gone, replaced by a deep, hollow exhaustion. He thought about his father, a carpenter who worked with his hands and came home every night, tired but fulfilled, smelling of sawdust and satisfaction. What was he, Marcus, building? A bigger bank account? An earlier grave? He picked up his phone to cancel a weekend trip with his old college friends. A trip he'd been looking forward to for months. But as his thumb hovered over the send button, he paused. He thought of the laughter, the inside jokes, the feeling of being somewhere he didn't have to perform. He thought of mercy. He put the phone down, walked into his boss's office, and for the first time in his career, he said 2 simple words. "I can't." He explained he was burning out and needed to step back for a few days. He needed a break. The reaction was not what he expected. His boss, a man he'd always seen as a ruthless deal-maker, listened patiently. Then he nodded. "Good," he said. "You're no use to us burned out. Take the weekend. Take next week, too. The deal will be here when you get back." It was a revelation. The machine could, in fact, run without him for a few days. His value wasn't solely tied to his constant presence. Sarah and Marcus never met. Their stories are parallel lines in the sprawling geometry of the city, but they are connected by a shared discovery. They learned that true strength isn't about enduring an inhuman amount of pressure. It's about recognizing your own humanity and having the courage to protect it. It's about finding the mercy to forgive yourself for not being a superhero. Sarah's quiet rebellion started a ripple effect. Her department became known as one of the most innovative and, ironically, most productive in the company. People wanted to work for her. Even Mr. Henderson, though he would never admit it, started to notice. One afternoon, as he passed her in the hallway, he paused. "Good work on the new campaign, Sarah," he said, and for the first time, he looked her directly in the eye. It wasn't a dramatic Hollywood moment, but for Sarah, it was everything. It was recognition, earned not by sacrificing herself on the altar of the corporation, but by finding a better, more sustainable way to succeed. Marcus came back from his break a different man. He was still ambitious, still driven, but his perspective had changed. He started setting boundaries. He turned off his work phone after 8 p.m. He reconnected with his passion for photography, spending his weekends capturing the city's hidden corners instead of staring at financial models. He found that a life with space for joy was not only more pleasant, but it also made him better at his job. He was calmer, more creative, and saw solutions where he once only saw problems. This isn't a story with a simple moral. It's not about quitting your job to become a carpenter or a photographer, though for some, that might be the answer. It's about finding the courage to redefine success on your own terms, right where you are. It's about the small daily acts of rebellion against a culture that tells you your worth is measured by your productivity, It's about listening for that quiet voice inside, the one that, like the bishop, whispers a prayer for mercy. It's about realizing that the most important deal you'll ever close, the most successful campaign you'll ever run, is the one you make with yourself. To live a life that is not just successful, but also whole. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that explores the human side of our modern world. See you next time.